I'll see you in the land of Morthond. Death awaits you at the border. Pass on through the gates of and destroy the ring of power.
Hey, Middle-earth role-playing fans, Roman Daisel is back. Been really knocked out lately. I got COVID. Thank God I didn't bring it home. My wife would never let me hear the end of it. One of my kids did, and then it went through the process of going through the whole household. So I've been knocked out for the last 2-3 days. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. It's kind of been like the flu. Just lasts longer. That's all I can think of. But rebounding well. Anyway, today we're going to be looking at Haunted Ruins of the Dunlendings. 8101 of the series, and it's the first of the Ready to Run adventures. This book first came out in 1985, and then they re-released it in 1988. I actually never had this book. I had to go on eBay, and I think I paid $35 plus shipping fees to get this sent back to my hometown in Belmont off eBay. So that'd be like $19.99. So I never actually got to read this until I went home in 2001. Now you can see that the cover art is not your typical Agnes McBride. It's done by some lady named Gail B. McIntosh, so it's not the same quality. Good artwork, but not an Agnes McBride. But anyway, let's delve into this one. Alright, so we're back at the table. Like I said, the cover art's nice, but nothing special. You flip over to the back, and you get a description of what's going on. So there's 3 adventures and all these things. And then you also have a regional map. So all this stuff is taking place in the Sarn Erek and Lamedon, Morthond Vale area, where the Oathbreakers were from, which is in this area. On the inside cover you get another rough drawn map of the area. Kebet Angren, all the way to Minas Angren, and there's an old mine in there for that one. Table of contents, got your old guidelines, adapting the module, yeah. Player characters, if you don't want to make your own character, you can use one of these PC prefabricated characters, and there's a good selection. Totally up to you if you want to do that. Then it goes right into the first adventure, the Adventure of Minas Angren, or Angen. I can never pronounce that one. The Tale of the Lonely Tower, which is like a Sears tower that was built in Morthond in 1170 of the Third Age, and by the Great Plague, it's ruled by a woman named Niniel. But the Great Plague comes in 1636 and kills her servants and then kills her. She buries her servants and then she goes to her library and then lays down, goes to her chair and sleeps on her table and dies. So her ghost is still there. And you get the coming of Korba and Sunil, who are bandits. Bandit lovers. Seems to be a common theme in MERP. Bandit lovers. And it gives their tale and how they found this old tower. And when they scoped it out for a day, then they climbed over the walls and they found nothing but the bones of some donkeys and ponies in the stables that were just bones. They slept the night in the stable, and then they realized no one lives there, so they broke in, and they've been checking it out. Korba then goes off and gets his old band of cutthroats, and when they get there, then they start raiding the local area, waylaying travelers and merchants. Now the size of the gang goes up and down depending on attrition. And one idiot, he decided to go in this one room, which is called the Room of Doors, and never came back. Though several game members heard a voice calling from somewhere near the kitchen during the days following his departure. Then, the gang recruited an old crazy man found wandering in the mountainside, who's a cleric animist, Gorhirik, who's a Northman, and is convinced that they all worship the dark god and is looking forward to having them bring back a sacrificial victim. They are seriously considering indulging him, since he has been a useful mediciner. Good to know that. So then it goes into the NPCs. Korba the Snake, Sunil Nine Fingers. Gives the description stats for all the NPCs. You got the Ghost of Niniel the Seer. Korhirik the Cleric. He does get drained by Niniel. She drains him of energy, but doesn't like him, so she doesn't finish him off. Then you have some people in the area who want to get rid of the bandits because they've killed 16 merchants. And there's a huge reward out for them. You also have another seer who wants to take over the tower, but she's a minor character. I wouldn't even use her. Layouts of Minas Angren. It gives you a pretty good side view of the rooms, which is pretty cool. I like that. But you got the gatehouse, the garth, the hallway, the kitchen. They got a slave in the kitchen. The gateway, the garth. It's got the kitchens. The kitchen has certain entrances. The bedroom of 2 of the gang. Another bedroom, and then 3 bedrooms for the gang. There's 5 gang members in 3 bedrooms. the stables. So it's got all that listed. And then you go into the tower itself. It's got a presence room. It's got a throne-like black oak chair with white wool cushions dominating a central dais, and 8 beach chairs line the outer wall. So it's an audience room. It is trapped, so there's a pair of floor traps. If you turn it left, you turn this oak handle left, then a 40-foot deep maw below invites the victim to a swift death. Then it goes into more detail on that. And then if you turn it right, opens a 5-foot wide panel which surrounds the dais. Beneath the panel is a 20-foot deep spike-lined pit. It reminds me of The Simpsons, Mr. Burns' office. He's got all those booby traps in his office. Excellent. It's got the dining room, a hallway, and then it's got Hergon, who's the second in command, I guess, or third in command, depending on how you look at it. Sunil and Korba's sitting room, Sunil and Korba's bedroom, and it's got various things you can find in all these rooms. So if you go here, you go through all the rooms, and then room 15 is the interesting one. A, B, C, D, E, F. 6 doors. One door will take you to the next level. All the other 5 doors will take you to a prison. So when you do get level 16, you will find the skeleton of Niniel sitting at her desk in her library. And she has various things upon her that are worth money. The books on the shelf are worth 1,000 gold pieces alone. Has some very interesting items on her. Also paintings which are interesting to transport people to the prison. Then it's got the Sears door, a shaft room. And you have to turn it a certain way or you get trapped. There's a trap on it. And you can go to the rooftop observatory platform. So all in all, it's pretty. The description is pretty good. It's interesting stuff, items you can find. Then there's the halls under the garth. So a storeroom, Gohirik's room. So you're down the well, you go down, you find a path to the Sears vault. 23 is the wine cellar. So there's an escape passage here that leads you down out to a way out. There's also another secret door behind here that leads to a secret passage and then to the prison, the secret prison. So the idiot that got cocky and tried to go through one of the doors, his rotting corpse is in room 25, and then there's another one in room 26 that's been there for a long, long time. 27 is the Sears vault. There's going to be lots of stuff like bags of gold pieces, like 360 gold pieces in 12 bags. All sorts of items and stuff that you can find. The task, obviously you got a journey to Minas Angren, tend to revolve around one of the 3 objectives. Discover the secret of Niniel's ghost and the nature of her abode. Clear the site of Gorba's band, making the road trade safe again on the road. And to find and loot the treasure of the Sears. So nothing's going to be easy. This is not for rookie adventurers. This is for a medium level party. This ready to run adventure is. So you want anywhere from level 3 and up. 3 to 5 would be perfect. A couple of level 3s with one level 5 would be a good starting party. Starting the players, starting pre-generated PCs if you want to use that. Other starting points, aids, obstacles. So obviously the bandits are one of them. The traps themselves are probably even more deadly. The way in and out. Rewards, a lot of rewards. Encounter Niniel's ghost, which is not Korba and Sunil. The bandit band. It's not a bad scenario actually. I actually like that one. The second adventure is called The Adventures of the Seven Stones, Setmayanen, and this is only a mile and a half east of the mining town of Osarnen. And it's a large man-made mound of earth supported and strengthened by stones twice the size of a man. 7 stone pillars, standing stones surround the mound within an age-old ceremonial ring. And then it goes in the tale of the 7 stones, how they were once dedicated to the Vala Este for healing of body and spirit. But then during the last alliance of men and elves, following the fall of the Sauron, a dark priest, Bruce Kurid, broke tradition and entered the stone mound, bearing the stolen holy jewel called the Star of Gobha, wherever you pronounce that, and thought he'd be protected. He sought healing. He also desired the treasures of the Foys. He slew the priestesses who dared refuse his wishes and vainly searched for a cure to his wound. And he had 3 buddies with him, and none of them ever came out. Their fate remains unwritten, but it is known that the evil star of, I'm going to call it Gobha, came to rest in the stone mound. So the Daen Coentis Setmayanen cast spells to protect the spirits of the brave priestesses, and it said the mound will open again upon the writing of the oath breaking. So it's got a nice picture of what the mound looks like and outside. So then it goes right into the NPCs. You got this guy Hajek, who is a 4th level mage. He's kind of like a guardian, so to speak. Penetrate inside the interior of the mound, but he only goes during the daylight hours. He doesn't stay at night, and he hasn't gone all the way through. So he's reached the treasures of the mound, but not the actual He's never come across a star, Goba yet. And he's just there. He's just a protector. Next we get this guy, Ruam Lair, a 3rd level Dunlending bard. And he can be like a guide. Next up we get this chick, Jessica Kale, a young woman, artistic thief. She's wanted for theft in Osarnan. And she's living with a middle-aged miner, hogo. She's using him as a place for shelter. She's not exactly the nicest person in the world. If she finds travelers, she will kill them and rob them. She hopes to break into the mound and steal the treasure, which is a good way to get herself killed. Next up we get Rek Baraton. He is one of the evil henchmen of Bruce Curate who went in and killed the 2 priestesses himself. So he got cursed, and his spirit now resides in one of the Pukal stones that guards the Star of Gobda. So what happens is if you touch his statue, or if you touch the Star of Gobda in his sight, then he will get up and attack. Except for he cannot leave the stone. He cannot leave the circle of stone pillars because it's warded. So if you can actually grab the star and get out before he can kill you, then he will not bother you anymore. But the star itself is evil. So you get some NPC. So they're the NPC stats. You see the layout of Set Meanan, and it gives a description. There's a lot of traps for these things, so you got to be careful with that. So a lot of traps. The layout's pretty cool inside. I like the layout. So obviously you have a door, the entrance hall. There's number 3 is the altar of the moon, number 4 is the altar of the stars, and number 5 is the altar of the sun. On the dawn of New Year's Day, the sun peeks into the stone mound through the transom over the doorway, illuminating the back wall where the altar of the stars is carved. The stars disappear and old Dunish writing appears in their stead, and basically instructs pilgrims how to fill three bowls with clear water in order to get some calm feeling and expectant as if something's going to happen. Then after the appearance of the Daenal writing, the sun's rays will strike the Foy's star at the center of the altar, and this causes the slabs before the secret doors to rooms 6 and 9 to slide into the ceiling and hidden doors. Now the idea is if you're sick, you go through number 6, which is like a waiting room, a resting room. Those who aren't sick aren't allowed down, but those who are sick are told to go down the stairway into the interior, and there are traps there as well too. Then there's a sanctuary. So in the sanctuary of the Foy is the heart of the stone mound. The whole room seems filled with a pearly mist. Alright. Marble slabs are of white color and arch upward to form a rounded ceiling. The inside of an egg or an old-fashioned beehive. The center of the chamber is a pool of clear still water, and growing from the pool is a silver green tree. It is both a living thing and a thing of artifice, meaning it's made by the ancient Daen Coentis artist with the inspiration of the story of the 2 trees of Eleanor. So this chamber is a place of healing. So you can get healed here. But unfortunately right now the Star of Goba is in the pool itself, and the healing waters will not work until you remove the star. It found its way into the pool after Rex stole it from his master Bruce and dropped it when he died standing in the waters. The star okay, so the star gives you the idea what the star does. So the guy is now trapped in a Pukal stone. His spirit, he stole it from his master who was dying, and then dropped it in the water so it lies in the pool beneath the watchful eye of a Pukal man. The stone Pukal man sits on the pool's wall across from the door, facing right as one enters from the stairway. Within the statue is the soul of a wreck of this guy. So an 8, he would be right there, the Pukal stone. So you touch the star, he's going to jump in. Touch the stone, he's going to jump at you. So that's what you can do if you want to cleanse the area. Number 9, there is the actual chamber of mist. And this has the treasures of Foy. It also has a lot of traps, and one of them will drop you like a plus 70 fall crush attack followed by possible drowning. And the decayed remains of 3 Dunlendings, including the dead priest Bruce Curate and his companions, Erne and Gurin, are there. So all sorts of stuff. And then it gives a list of the treasures. So the task is it's not really much of a task, like it's just you adventurers going off, hearing about this local mound and wanting to explore it. The only thing I could think of to send people there. One of those adventures where there's no real reason to go. There's no rewards other than what you find in the stone mound. So there's no aids. Obstacles are obviously the traps are the biggest one, as well as the Pukal man. And then encounters, you encounter the NPCs. Are the biggest encounters. Overall, it's not a bad adventure actually. You could go there with a bunch of level 2, level 3 guys. The final adventure is called The Adventure of Hogo Terrace. Reading through this is actually a pretty cool adventure. I wish I'd played this. Basically what happens is there's a bunch of caverns high up in the hills that are isolated, and the Dunlendings had an altar there to their god called the Old Man of the Mountain, which is another term for owl. But then some dark priests came and tried to take it over and make some dark sacrifices. There was a fight between the Daen Coentis among themselves, and they killed one of the most powerful priests, and the rest fled. This is after the oath breaking, so everyone disappears. Then later, other Dunlendings come into the area, and they worship at the altar, and it triggers the spirit of the evil priest. So they bow and worship him as God. He gets stronger, but he's draining his own people, so he sends them off to find him more victims, more people to drain from in sacrifice. But after 200 years of doing that, he realizes that his people are becoming inbred. So he has them, so the people they bring in from their raids, instead of draining them right away for their energy, he tries to mesmerize them too. And if he was successful in compelling them to join, then they were inducted in the tribe. If they proved unworthy, they perished, robbed of their life spirit. So he's now called Shoglik, which is another name for the Old Man in the mountain. He's been Lord of Hogo of terrace for so long, as the bardic tales can remember. Every year he claims 4 or 5 victims, but only 1 in 15 is accepted. The others are drained and their bodies carried off in the wilds for the beast to eat. Any of their possessions that might be of use are kept. The surrounding lands are now full of bones of men, and it becomes harder to find prey as the tribesmen of the Phantom Doors must search further abroad. So that's actually a pretty cool story. So the NPC is Shoglik, a ghost, undead animist. He's only an 8th level, so he can move within his cavern. He's got some pretty cool powers, presence. Like that picture of the throne of Shoglik is actually pretty cool. Whoever was the artist did a really good job. So we got his high priest Orvig, and the second priest Skoll. We got Thibault, the chieftain of the tribe. Devorian is a second level ranger, is now a new resident. He's a Dunlending who was overwhelmed and brought in 4 months ago. His wife, father, and son were killed in the fray and ensued. Angering Shoglik, who demands live prisoners. He never realized the fate of his family was taken unconscious before the Old Man of the... He passed the test, and already Devorian looks a little haggard. His eyes shine with the religious fervor of the folk of Shoglik. So Devorian, he's already succumbed. So Dunlending has already succumbed to the Dark One. That's good to know. There's also Celebriel, young Dunlending level 1 healer, who was taken while gathering herbs. She seems to be also accepted into the clan. And then another one, who's another guy, I can't even pronounce his name. He's guarding all the prisoners. So that's interesting. So it gives stats for the NPCs. The layout of the Hugo Terrace Fund. Caves, crevice, fox den, cavelet. So there's not really anything special with the first part of this. 4 is a fox den. So I think the ghost would drain the foxes too. But it is a pretty cool layout if you go through this. I know I'm saying cool a lot. Goes through all the various descriptions of the cave entrances. Great water basin, branch cave, entry cave. There are some traps in this thing. Inner gate to the cave village, the village common. Individual houses. So 12 to 19. I hate having to flip through. So this is like the village. You go in the common, there's the pool. The villagers live inside the caves. And then special residences for the uppers. The upper level has the upper courtyard, which would be 20. Which is 20 up here. There's also a trap there. The high priest's household, the chieftain's household, ceremonial mound. There's a mound in this, eh? And they have a picture of the ceremonial mound. 23. So you have to go outside for that one. Then you get a lower entry, which has the holy cavern, the antechamber to the holy place, Shoglik's treasures. So there'd be treasure there you can find. Ceremonial robing room. Worshipper's robing room. It is now empty, devoid of once fine wooden furniture. Shoglik's throne room. The dog-shaped throne room carved from a single huge chunk of glassman. So nothing special there. So the adventures you can do are either 1, rescue, 2, looting, or 3, slaughter. Those related to the kidnapped prey of Shoglik's followers often seek the return of their loved ones and undoubtedly want revenge. Many, particularly local authorities, wish to put an end to the bizarre disappearances that occurred near the Phantom Doors. Rewards for such adventure are great, but so are the dangers. So it's up to you what you want to do. You can get hired by someone to do a rescue. You can go and cross in the mountains and see what you can find, or you can and then either loot it or slaughter everyone. So starting the players, you do a plan, aids, obstacles, then encounters. So you're going to encounter obviously the villager, Shoglik, and his henchmen. So that would actually be a pretty good adventure, I think. Then we got the encounter table for all 3 adventures. In Minas Ogden, Setmanen, and Hogo Terrace. So on the back insert, you got the set Manon area for the second adventure, and then the third adventure, the Hugo Terrace area. And that's it. Alright, so that was my look at Haunted Ruins and the Dunlendings. What I think of this Ready to Run adventure, I thought this was actually a great book. I wish I had it when I played and was able to go through it. This is a great place to send some level 3 to 5 guys. Maybe add a rookie in to get them going. And the adventures are pretty solid. It's good adventuring. The ghosts aren't overly powerful that they're going to wipe you out in a matter of minutes. The traps are the biggest obstacle, I think. People aren't really that dangerous, except for in the last one where there's more of them. And the layouts were excellent. So yeah, this is probably one of the better adventure books that they've come up with, and it was one of the early ones. So I'm quite pleased with how that went. Took me I went a little more in depth with this one because I hadn't read it in so long, so it was enjoyable to go through it again. And also took me a little longer because I kept coughing and hacking and that in between takes. Damn CCP virus, never trust the CCP. But anyway, all you Lord of the Rings fans out there, let me know if you guys have this, if you played it with a group. It was a lot of fun. Love to know. Leave comments in the comment section. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let people know. And until next time, this is Roman Daysel. I'm out of here.
Shadows increasing, peace throughout the land.